I'm going to adjust these hyperlinks: Google Calendar View, the weekly one which is the weekly overview, the weekly 2 which is the habit tracker, and the next and previous navigation buttons. The top tabs labeled D2222 allow us to switch from the daily 1 layout to the daily 2 layout for the same day. Since we only have one layout, we can delete all the hyperlinks. Alternatively, we can leave them because in the end, I will delete the daily 2 pages after exporting the file. This means the hyperlinks won't work since the pages will be deleted. To update the 5 hyperlinks, identify and select the hyperlink in the old design template. Next, hide the old design layer in the layer panel. You'll then see the new design. Keep the hyperlinks selected and move them to the new position. Make sure you do this from the parent page. Change its position from the parent page, not from the page, as you won't be able to control it later from the parent page. Here's an example. First, identify the hyperlink in the old design. In our example, this hyperlink is for Google Calendar View. Second, head over to the parent page, which in our case is D1 Daily 1. This parent page controls the daily 1 pages. Select the Google Calendar View text frame. Hide the old design layer and move the Google Calendar View text frame to its new position in the new design. Feel free to go to one of the daily 1 pages and verify that the hyperlinks have been updated correctly. We'll follow the same steps for weekly 1, which is our weekly overview. First, identify the hyperlink in the old design, and select the weekly 1 text frame. Hide the old design layer and move the text frame to its new position. Finally, go to the daily 1 pages to make sure the weekly 1 hyperlink is in the right place. For weekly 2, our habit tracker, we're going to do the same. Go to the parent page, D1 Daily 1, and select the weekly 2 text frame. Next, hide the old design layer. After that, move the weekly 2 text frame to place it above the habit tracker button. Finally, adjust the size of the text frame so that it fits perfectly over the habit tracker button. Head over to any daily 1 pages. Select all, then change the horizontal scale until the black highlight covers the entire habit tracker button. Next, let's look at the next and previous buttons. The next and previous buttons are already in the right place. Since we didn't move them during the design update, they're in the same position in both the old and new designs. So we don't need to change anything about them. Now that we're done with Daily 1, don't forget to use Save As to create a backup copy of your file. The weekly 1 page. Next, we'll move on to weekly 1. The weekly 1 page includes hyperlinks for each day of the week. You can adjust the font size and colors directly from the weekly 1 pages. Also, you can control their placement through the parent page W1 Weekly 1. For the week numbers, you can change the style directly on the page. You can also change their position, but make sure to do it from the parent page W1 Weekly 1. If you move a text frame directly on a regular page, you won't be able to control it from the parent page anymore. If you make a mistake, you can use the undo option from the edit menu, or you can go back to one of your saved backup copies. At the upper right side of the page, you'll find hyperlinks for Next, Previous, and Google View. These hyperlinks are already positioned the same way as in the old design, so there's no need to adjust their location. Everything remains as it was before. Now let's modify the top tabs, especially the Weekly 2 hyperlinks. For Weekly 1 tab, which is for the weekly overview page, it's the same in both the old and new designs, so no changes are needed. On the other hand, the Habit Tracker tab, which corresponds to Weekly 2 in the old design, must be changed since the lengths are different. Just follow the earlier steps. Identify and select the text frame for the Habit Tracker in the old design. Hide the old design layer. Then adjust the text frame to match the length of the Habit Tracker tab. Then, go to one of the Weekly 1 pages, select all the hyperlinks, and increase the horizontal scale until the black highlight covers the entire area of hyperlink. Once you've done that, don't forget to make a backup copy of your file. Let's move on to the Weekly 2 layout. First, I'll adjust the days of the week by making them all capital letters. And I'll also change the font and font size. Next, go to the parent page W2 Weekly 2. Select all the text frames and move them down a bit so that the text is centered within the rectangle for the days of the week. I'll also reduce the horizontal scale since I noticed that the text for Wednesday is nearly touching the edges of the rectangle. This will ensure there's enough space around the text. The next, previous, and Google Calendar View buttons are in the same position in both the old and new designs, so we don't need to make any changes to them. For the top tabs, we'll adjust the Weekly 1 hyperlinks until the black highlight perfectly fits the tab sizes. Before we dive into the month overview, don't forget to back up your file.